Hey guys, what is up, and I welcome each and every one of you to a new League of Legends video. So today let's go over what Riot has just released, apparently actually a new champion roadmap. These are personally one of the things I'm usually most excited for because they give us information about, upcoming champions, reworks, new champs, of course, teasers. And it's always really fun to kind of, get a little bit of hype action going on. So yeah, as usual, if you guys enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. But let's just jump right into it. So champion roadmap, April of 2022. So we have a powerful Empress, a colorful stranger. We have, of course, the Udyr rework. Apparently there's an Aurelion Sol rework, some additional information of the Skarner rework, and a new area of Shurima. Oh, that's pretty interesting, actually. So let's go over this together. So this is just the intro. We'll skip this. There's nothing really here. A whole new world. Don't you dare close your eyes. The champions team has something coming soon. Something beautiful, something inevitable, something foretold. A new skirmisher for all those jungle players out there. A new empress to submit to, and you will submit. I wonder if this is that from, remember that leak a long time ago I made a video on of like the void type jungler that can like switch their abilities, almost like Kha'Zix, but more so. I wonder if it's that. Anyway, those who do so willingly will be rewarded by becoming part of the ever-expanding Lavender Sea, crashing like waves against the enemy's defensive structures. Well, sounds like a sieger. Given to your Empress and let her feed on your essence. See me become part of the new evolution of Runeterra. Evolution. Dude, it actually might be that jungler that was leaked a long... Wait, True Face. Her beauty and the True Face of the Void. Wait, hold on a second. Wait, so this actually might be... Remember that? I don't know if you guys... How many people remember from that? Like, I made this video months ago at this point, but there was a leaked champion of a Void jungler. I think it was a Void jungler. It had like that apostrophe in the name, kind of like Rek'Sai, for instance, or Cho'Gath, right? It had that apostrophe. Similar name style. And like, you would literally, based on like the amount of the specific jungle monsters you would kill or something like that, kind of like Nunu and Kha'Zix mixed, when Nunu used to consume and get like different buffs. You could like upgrade your abilities based on that, and it would be like fairly different as well. Again, kind of like Kha'Zix, but like 2022 version of that essentially. So that, I mean, it could very well be that champion that got leaked, maybe slightly different, but maybe something similar to that. Maybe it's literally that champion. I don't know. That's pretty exciting though. That's pretty cool. Moving on though, we have, what is this? This is pretty cool actually. A joyous occasion. Next up, the champions team would love for all of you to join us down at Oyster Bill's Oyster Shack. Grab some of the best oysters in all of Runeterra while you listen to one of Oyster Bill's tall tales. It's like a tongue twister. Oyster Bill's tall tales. In fact, just last night, we stopped by and saw the place was a wreck. Tables smashed, bottles broken, strange glowing puddles all over the place. According to Oyster Bill, it was caused by a colorful but deadly stranger who came to Runeterra from a land across the sea. He claimed some Noxians were getting rowdy, and one of them accidentally knocked over the stranger's oysters. The colorful one laughed, a most joyous laugh as they stood up from their table. The Noxian looked confused at first, then, thinking the stranger was making fun of her, got in their face. The rest of her warband stood to join against her, or rather stood to join her, grabbing their weapons when mist suddenly filled the restaurant. Kind of reminds me of the Runeterra, or the Bilgewater game, the Ruin King. Oyster Bill said all he heard was a joyous laughter and the sound of splashing water. When the mist cleared, all 10 of the heavily armed and armored Noxians were dead, and the stranger was nowhere to be seen. We laughed, as we always do when Bill tells one of his famous stories. Sure, it was just a random bar fight that caused the mess, but hey, that's not nearly as exciting. When one of the customers doubted the story, Bill doubled down on his claim that it was true, and that the mysterious stranger was in fact living in a room above his restaurant. Yikes. He said that if any of us wanted to go talk to them ourselves, we were welcome to. We passed that night, but who knows, maybe if you join us next time, we can go and see the stranger from the land of 1,000 colors. This is real night. Damn, that actually sounds kind of sick. I'm not gonna lie, what the fuck? So they didn't really give us too many hints on what the abilities could potentially look like. Some kind of like, what was it? Something about water. Mist suddenly filled the restaurant, and sound of splashing water. This is like the only real hint of a potential kit or abilities or whatever. Mist and splashing water. Some like maybe purple misty water. I don't fucking know. Sounds pretty cool though. Guardian Spirit. So of course we have Udyr. Damn, look at this guy. It looks pretty sick actually. I like the hair. Some kind of like Super Saiyan almost kind of hair. Like Raditz or some shit. Anyway, there isn't much to say about the Udyr that wasn't covered in our last update, which we talked about. He's still a big boy hanging out in the Freljordian wilds, commuting with spirit animals. Base Udyr is finished at this point, and now we are focusing on his skin catalog. with most of the team working on his Spirit Guard skin. We really want to pour a lot of love and attention to that skin, with it being an ultimate skin after all. One of the goals for Spirit Guard is to keep some, okay, this is just about the skin, so if you guys care about that, you can, of course, it'll be there, you can read it yourself, which is cool. So not really much of an update on Udyr, but they've already given us an insane amount of updates. We already kind of have a decent idea, and he should be, like, honestly fairly close around the corner, so that's pretty cool. Now, apparently, Aurelion Sol's getting some, like, changes, some, you know, potentially a rework, which is pretty cool. I love the champion's thematic. Just his in-game playstyle is so bad. I'm sorry. It's really bad. It's so not good. But his thematic and, like, the champion himself and, like, the lore-wise is, like, unbelievable. It's, like, really freaking cool. And then he just feels like this little, I don't know, it could be cooler. Let's talk about Aurelion Sol. Back when we announced the Star Forger, a lot of you were super hyped for his release. So hyped that we had... he had one of our biggest purchase rates on day one. Tons of you really loved and want to play a gigantic, arrogant star dragon. Unfortunately, we didn't really deliver on a gameplay kit that matched that excitement. True. As most of you dropped him just after a few games. True. His play rate plummeted to one of the lowest in the game, is where he has been ever since. That said, he still comes up in the top 10 most liked visuals whenever we do champion surveys, even though his gameplay always ends up near the bottom of the list. True, that's essentially what I just said. We've tried some small tweaks to ASL, but when we discussed what we should do to help him out, we came to the consensus that we should just start his gameplay over from scratch. Good. We didn't think patching up his kit with small changes would deliver on his promised thematic fantasy, so we decided to try a new prototype of a champion update, a comprehensive gameplay update, or CGU. How's that different? I don't get it. As opposed to, like, just a gameplay, a rework. The goal of a CGU is to update gameplay for two types of champions. Those that have high quality art and narrative, but whose gameplay, or champions in the more complicated gameplay issues that can be solved by changing one or two abilities. Okay, so in other words, it essentially just means that, like, they're not really changing what the champion is, not really changing the thematic, the lore, the visual even. They're more just hardcore reworking the kit. So it's like a super mega mini rework, where it's not like a full VGU rework, where it's like pretty much everything is changing, including thematic, lore, etc. This is like, that side is not changing the lore, but the gameplay side is the part that's changing. So it's like a heavy gameplay rework, essentially, is what it is. Ace will be the first champion to go through a CGU, and if you're happy with the results, we may take a look at other champions that fall into these categories in the future. There are definitely a few that I can't remember off the top of my head, but I just know there are more like that. Anyway, back to Aurelion Sol. Our goal is to give the Space Puppy an entirely new kit with massive changes similar to VGUs like Urgots or Scions, while making sure that it's still thematically cohesive with who he already is, which is essentially what I just described. We want to emphasize his dragon fantasy, as we don't think he currently delivers on that part of his persona very well. We also think that our new take on his Star Forging gameplay will both be spectacular to see and more intuitive to play. While things can always change, we're currently targeting sometime at the end of the year to get a new and improved Star Dragon in your hands, and we really hope he'll finally deliver on the fantasy you'll all excited. Yeah, personally, I think this is a great approach. I personally think his thematic, his look, his lore, his voiceover, his, like, even his video where they, you know, showed him in, like, his music, like, all that is freaking amazing. In all honesty, like, he looks amazing. Like, the idea of playing him and, like, what he is just phenomenal. Until you finally play him, and then you're like, what the actual fuck is this shit? Like, no hate or anything, but, like, you play him and you're just like, geez, man, like, what in the fuck? It feels like they put all their resources and money into, like, the lore and the thematic and the design, and then, like, 1% of that of the budget went into creating his kit, because, yeah, it's just bad. Sorry, it is. And then, of course, we have Skarner. So let's talk about the champion that won the VGU poll earlier this year, Skarner. We haven't yet officially started on his VGU, but it'll start very soon. But that shouldn't stop Larry Bravo Ray from doing some high-level sketches for inspiration. Bravo Ray is a huge fan of Skarner, really. I mean, hey, each to their own. I just don't really see what's there to like. Champion's boring as hell. No hate. I personally think Champion's boring as hell. I think the thematic, the idea... Like, compare Skarner's overall thematic and what the champion is to Aurelion Sol. Like, one is just substantially cooler than the other. I'm sorry. One is literally a star creating, destroying galaxy dragon, and one is literally a scorpion. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just too edgy. Who knows? The first two rows are attempts to keep Skarner's theme pretty much the same as live, while making him more unique on the league roster, which is the first two rows. Dude, I like this one. Look at that stinger. Holy shit. That looks freaking cool. The third row contains explorations of a full reboot of the Bracken? It explores them as an ancient protector of the old Shreeman civilization before it was lost to the sand. The idea is that they are constructs built from crystals, housing thousands of elite warrior souls. That's pretty cool, actually. I like the sound of that. The last row is an exploration of Wait, row, not column. Wait, row. Oh, okay, so this one was that thing you just talked about. This looks really cool, actually. This also looks really cool. I like this a lot. This one right here looks pretty sick. Like, I feel like Skarner would look a lot cooler if he didn't look like a scorpion per se. If he was like a kind of like a, almost like a futuristic scorpion or something like that. Like, I think the fact that he just literally looks like a scorpion is like kind of boring. I feel like he could look like a scorpion roughly, but just almost like if a scorpion, how a scorpion can look like 1,000 years into the future, sort of thing. I don't know. That could be pretty cool. We haven't committed to this yet, but in those versions, he is captured by Piltover and experimented on in order to create a Hextech guardian they control. But he regains his memories, escapes Piltover, and is now hellbent on destroying the city. That's pretty cool. I personally like the third one the best, and the idea and the lore behind that. I think that's the coolest one personally. That I think that has crazy potential, and it kind of fits with his lore. Keep in mind, excuse me. These are all super early ideas coming out of the Bravo Race heads, so we aren't locked onto anything yet. Shortly after we official, something in my throat. Start working on Skarners, we will do a bigger dev blog, blah, blah, blah. Oh, hope you're all excited about the upcoming champions and as I am. Look out for another roadmap later this year, where I will cover the Pride of Nazuma, a new high skill top lane tank from a region of Shurima that hasn't yet been seen. That sounds pretty freaking sick, but high skill tank? Usually those two don't really go hand in hand, in my opinion. Tanks are usually pretty simple. Overall, they're not really that complicated. They're, you know, kind of like a me smash type champions, right? Not that difficult. So that, I mean, that sounds pretty cool. I'm definitely down for something like this. That sounds really interesting. A high skill tank. That sounds super sick, actually. But either way, guys, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you for watching. You know, I want to hear your opinions on the champions, the new reworks, Aurelion Soul rework, all that stuff. But either way, let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace.